Meenakshi, and I'll be talking about the last moment, not really tips and tricks, but really what has to be done before the CAT and in the CAT. So 26th November we have the exam, and I know all of you must be jittery and nervous and are already having sleepless nights discussing with friends what has to be done and teachers, etc. So first of all, I would tell you to relax, calm down, don't let it get to your nerves. The CAT is an exam and it can be solved. It is not the end of the world. The second thing that you have to keep in mind is that thousands of students get through it very easily every year, but at the same time you have to keep your focus on the do's and don'ts. So we'll discuss a few points today which will, I believe, make you feel more armed and well prepared for the exam, and in the exam what you have to think and how you have to react. Thinking and reacting is a very important part of the exam. When you open the paper, the immediate fear is that I have to score, that I have to clear the cutoff. Yes, of course, that's important. But more than clearing the cutoff or thinking about it, because thinking about it won't make you clear it, the more important thing is that focus on what is in front of you. The question that is there in front of you is the most important thing for you at that point of time. And then the question selection is the second point, which is the maker or breaker, or the thing that will make or break your section. So what question you are attempting and how you are attempting, how much time you are giving to each question, the return over the invested time is very important. So those 34 questions that are in front of you, out of them, you don't have to solve all of them. You have to pick and choose the ones that are your strengths and try to negate the ones that are your weaknesses. So in this case, what you'll have to look at is, say, let's assume a standard paper of 2007 or 8 that came. So if we assume that level of a test, in the CAT with 34 questions in verbal ability and reading comprehension, you should be looking at anything between 24 to 27 questions, which will get you the desired percentile for the top IMs. And this I'm talking with a 5% error margin. Now, errors are again something that is a big problem, especially in the verbal section. Some people have a tendency to just take it like an ego issue and mark every question that comes in front of them, and that is not correct. Because if your number of errors are high, your percentile will be lower, even if you have got equal marks in terms of equal number of correct attempts. So the person with a higher error level will get a lower percentile. And that is something that you have to be careful about, especially in the theta questions. In the theta questions, people feel that it is without negative marking, so I should attempt all of them. Whether I know them or I don't know them, I should take a guess. That can be done in NMAT, where the percentile does not vary with your number of incorrects. But in the CAT, your percentile does vary with the number of the wrongs that you do, the incorrect questions that you do. So you have to be careful not to overindulge yourself in the theta section. Theta section, I mean the questions without options, the type in your answer section. So just attempt the ones that you're sure about, the ones that you're 100% confident about. Even a 50-50 should be avoided. What you need to do is look through the paper, divide your time into 3 parts. The first part for 10 to 15 minutes of verbal, which should be anything between 5 to 7 questions if you can manage. The next 30 minutes for your comprehension, which should be around another 12-13 questions, and then another 5 questions in the remaining 15 minutes. 2-3 minutes you should give for surfing through the questions, looking at them. You read a comprehension, first few lines, you're not able to understand head or tail of it, don't try to fight with it. Parajumble, you see, okay, this is a very lengthy one. I can solve it, but I'm going to take 5 minutes to solve this jumble. It's not worth it. Invest your 10 minutes in the comprehension instead. And in the comprehension, if you need that extra 1 minute, which will make you solve the questions more accurately, please do that. Go back and recheck your answers. You know, in the comprehension section, we have a tendency just to read once and start solving. If you need to go back and check whether the words exactly in the option are same as what you read in the passage, please do it for specific questions. Otherwise, the CAT has a tendency to change a few words here and there. The option tries to look like the one in the passage, but it has got an error introduced. And we fall into the trap. That has to be avoided. So be careful that you check your answer before you mark it and be confident about it. Right? If you read the RC, there's no need of marking all the 5 questions that are there. If you're confident about 4, mark 4. Leave the 5th one if you feel you are making errors in an inferential question. Then you can leave that out. There's no ego issue here. There's no battle that has to be won here. You have to get the cutoff. So it is not the number 1 position that we have to secure. We have to get into that comfortable position wherein we get our required cutoff and that many students can get. So that is what you have to look at. You have to be one of them, right? So there is a seat for you in one of the top colleges. It is up to you how you react to the paper there and then. And think about the paper, think about the question. At that point of time, that is the most important thing that you should be looking at. And the second part of what I wanted to say today are the next few days that you have. So there's hardly much time left, hardly any time left now. What you could do is just go through what you have done, maximize your strengths, minimize your weaknesses. Don't try to do anything new. Just try to revise whatever concepts you have learned, which you're strong at. Make sure that you can derive the maximum out of it. Right? So yes, CAT papers definitely to give you a feel. Go through some of the past papers, go through your mocks, go through your errors, and see your list of formulas, charts, etc. For verbal, vocabulary need not be revised before the CAT because CAT has moved out of vocabulary a little bit. So vocabulary for IFT and MAT, yes, definitely you need for that also. But for CAT, typical vocabulary questions, last moment revision is not going to help you too much. So don't waste these last 3 days trying to mug up vocabulary. But yes, a list of common errors and a checklist of the styles and tones of passages, a checklist of what the type of questions are there in your comprehension and verbal, like your parajumble, etc., the strategies for solving, definitely go through them. Be confident. You just need those 24 to 26 questions. That's all. Pick and choose wisely. Be confident and just react. Don't try to over solve and not even under solve. So you have to strike the right margin. 10% plus minus will happen depending on the difficulty level of the exam. So that you will have to keep a standard paper and then 10% plus or minus if it is more difficult or easy, depending on the difficulty level of the paper. So take care all of you, make sure you eat before the exam, you have slept well, and try to give a few mocks during the time slot that you have. So if you have the morning slot, try to appear for a mock maybe tomorrow or day after at the time that you have to give the actual exam, so that your body and mind are also ready for the paper. Otherwise, if you are a late sleeper and you have the exam in the morning slot, your mind might be lazy in the mornings. So just make sure that the next 3 days your routine is going to be like on the day of the exam. Alright, that really helps. So take care all of you. God bless and all the best. Thank you.